Rucking. Rucking, or what we call mas. A rite of passage to anybody entering any branch of any military in the world. For those who do not know what rucking is, it's basically walking. A lot. About a month ago, I saw a video of Markiplier attempting to walk 100,000 steps in a day, which is a fucking horrible idea. Praise to this dude, but what were you thinking? I saw the video and props to this dude. He got really fucking close, but seeing the way how his body was reacting to the sheer amount he walked in a single day, it brought me back to my boot camp days. So in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about rucking, or what we call mas. So for those who don't know what rucking or what mas is, it's basically walking a long distance with a large amount of weight. And if you're in the military, you kind of have to do that a lot. In my experience with rucking, okay, especially within the Dutch Marine Corps, okay, the Dutch Marine Corps and the Royal British Marines, okay, they are known for walking long distances with a sheer amount of weight. Okay, I remember at a certain moment we were carrying anywhere between about 35 to 40 kilos of weight on our back. Oh, we had to walk. You bet your ass we had to walk. We had to walk so much. Now you're probably thinking 25 kilometers? It doesn't sound like a lot. Until you actually do it. The sheer amount that you have to walk, it does something to a man. I cannot express how bored you get sometimes just staring at the back of your boot and staring at the back of your colleague's pack while simultaneously hearing about 3 dozen men going My experience with rucking, for those who don't know, before I went into the military, I started out as a park ranger in the Arikok National Park here in Aruba. My specialization was actually hiking with people over long distances through rough terrain, so I felt pretty confident in going into rucking and stuff like that in boot camp. I was severely underestimating the severity of the tasks that lay ahead. Oh man, it's horrible. It is literally horrible. The drill instructors used it as a weapon. It doesn't matter how good your day was going or how well we performed during the week. All that good mood was ruined when you hear the words mas. I ask my colleagues to this day, what was the worst part about boot camp? It wasn't the isolation, it wasn't being away from home, it was fucking walking. So I'm not gonna bore you, okay? The first times we actually rucked was with a limited amount of weight and short distances, you know, just to get used to walking that weight. I was feeling pretty confident at first because I'm used to that. Then came the Crusaders. For those who do not know, the Crusader is a backpack from Berghaus. How the fuck do you pronounce that name? It's a backpack that looks like this. We had to carry that. Oh man. That was fun. You had to pack that thing in a very specific way. Otherwise, if the weight's not evenly distributed, you are going to have a really horrible time. When that thing gets on your fucking back, you can't breathe properly. So literally one of the tricks we had was, as we're walking, okay, just playing around with the straps to make sure like the weight gets distributed evenly. Okay, shoulders are getting a bit tired, zip 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 zip. All right, now all the weight's going down to my legs. Shoulders getting a bit, your legs are getting a bit tired, zip 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 zip. All the weight's going down to my shoulder, and you had to do that for miles. At a certain moment, you talk to each other, you know, to pass the time, to make sure nobody goes insane, to keep each other's spirits up, but eventually it gets silent, and all you're hearing is just steps and miserable grunting. I've seen the toughest guys cry during ruck. How do I know? I was one of those fucking guys. Oh man, you gotta take care of your feet. You gotta take care of your fucking feet while you're walking. Oh yeah, so at a certain moment he said, okay, his legs didn't work anymore. So I relate to that in a really special way. So as you're walking, okay, once you're walking a really long distance, especially with a large amount of weight on your back, your feet begin to swell up to a point where you don't really feel the damage that's being done to your feet until you stop. Before when your feet were feeling nothing, it started to feel everything. I remember like one specific ruck. We had the ruck 20 kilometers, okay, 20 kilometers, and at that point I'm thinking, fuck it, just get it over with and done. And by the 15th kilometer, every 5 kilometers or every hour, we would stop, rest, refill our water bottle, refill our canteens, refill our camelbacks, eat some snacks, okay, to make sure we don't fucking pass out, and then just kept going. Alright? And I remember after the 15th kilometer, the first few steps, after resting for 10 minutes, yeah, it felt like I was walking on fire. I cannot describe it. Like, it's just a burning sensation every time you take a step, and it stays with you until your feet begin to swell up again. And that can take literally half an hour, but eventually you keep on walking, and the pain goes away. But every time you stop, it just gets worse. Oh man, I remember the absolute worst ruck I had was the FINEX. Okay, the FINEX stands for our final exercise or our final exam. We had to walk 25 kilometers. Before we began that 25 kilometers, we ran a opmars, or infiltration of enemy terrain, with all our gear. 18 kilometers to Cristofel National Park in Curacao. To say that was the worst experience of my life is an understatement. I remember like when we finally made it back to base, like it was after the graduation ceremony. It was like a nice day. We had our families and everything else, so everybody's like waiting for us. At a certain moment, they're like, alright, dames en heren, ze zijn van nu, which means your family members you can actually go and hug your family members and stuff like that. And there was like you're expecting us to run to our families and stuff like that, hug them. Nope, nobody was moving because our legs were hurting too damn much. And when we did start walking, it was basically like this, okay? Legs spread and just my legs don't work. When you're like walking a really long distance, your knees just refuse to fucking bend. And then you try. I remember at a certain moment, I was sitting down next to my grandmother and my mother, and we're eating, and one of the corporals came to congratulate me, and I could not stand up to shake his hand. I literally could not stand up, like, I can't move, sir. So yeah, those are some boot camp stories. I didn't write a script for this, okay? I just thought about it and just sat down and recorded this shit. Props to Markiplier for actually trying the 100,000 steps challenge, because literally, even without weight, that is a lot. Even without weight, that's still causing a lot of damage to your feet. So props to the guy. I'll link a video down in the description so you guys can go check it out. I'm pretty sure anybody who's on YouTube ever has seen or heard of Markiplier, so I'm pretty sure you guys can go check out that video. Even though I keep talking about this shit as like, oh man, it was a miserable experience, I still look back at boot camp as possibly one of the best periods of my life, okay? To be honest, it's a period where you any barrier you had, you just shattered, and that was just completely satisfying to me. Plus, it was just nice to do something that was completely different, completely out of my comfort zone. Well, guys, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Podcasts are on halt until further. The fuck was that? Podcasts are on halt until further notice, because my work schedule is getting a bit hectic. But until then, Stan the Man, signing off.